Hey, this is Sim130 and I'm doing a review on the new Star Wars The Clone Wars 11 or 2-10-11 episode 17 3.17 of the season 3 Ghosts of Mortis, and it's pretty much the wrap-up of the Mortis trilogy. It's not as good as the second one or the first one, but it's still really good. Well, you can't really say it's not as good because they all kick ass. So yeah. But pretty much what happens in the episode is Ahsoka is fixing the ship, and Anakin decides to take off and find a way to kill because he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he should leave to contain the sun and have a bad dark side out in the galaxy, or stay and risk the sun getting away and try and kill him. So he takes off for the father, or Obi-Wan stays with the ship with Ahsoka, and so yeah, and so the father gave the dagger to the dead sister and closes her up in her coffin thing, saying her his final goodbye. And then Anakin shows up, and the father eventually tells him where the sun is, or where the sun should be. And so he decides, oh well, I'm gonna go there because I think that's where he's gonna be. So yeah, the corniness in this episode was a lot. There was a lot of stupidity kind of thing going on because it's a little kids show as well. But yeah, so he sees Qui-Gon, and he tells him that Qui-Gon believes that Anakin's the chosen one, blah blah blah, which he really is. It's not Luke, because Vader does bring balance to the Force. Well, I guess in theory Luke does too, but Vader kind of kills the Emperor and stuff like that, in Wichita himself. But yeah. So anyway, so the sun lures Anakin to his lair basically, and shows him visions of the future, like Padme dying of childbirth, and Obi-Wan fighting him, and Anakin freaking out, and yeah. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. So after that, he pretty much goes after Obi-Wan comes down after the father went to his ship, and eventually Obi-Wan got him to tell him where Anakin went. So he went to find him, and Anakin knocks his speeder into the lava and takes Obi-Wan's speeder and leaves Obi-Wan stranded because he's temporarily turned to the dark side, which is gay and retarded, because that was not a good idea. But then again, the guy's putting Grand Moff Tarkin and everybody in there, so yeah, he's not. It's falling. But so yeah, technically after that, Obi-Wan contacts Ahsoka and tells him that the Sun and Anakin have temporarily joined forces and the Sun, and they're coming towards the ship to take off and leave. So he tells Ahsoka to disable the ship, and she says, "But," and then he says, "Just do as I say." No buts. But so so as Anakin shows up at the ship, she grabs one of the most important pieces that's not replaceable, and sits on the stealing as he runs by, and then she takes off on his speeder, and the Sun shows up, and Anakin tells him that Ahsoka has disabled the ship. He's like, I know how we can turn the odds in our favor. So he goes after the father. So he goes after them, or he goes and gets the dagger, actually, the dagger from his sister's tomb, and tells her that she was the only one he really loved, and which is kind of weird. But yeah. So, and then the father shows up at the shuttle while Anakin's waiting, and he tells Anakin, "You should not see the past." So he taps him on the forehead and deletes that time in his memory. Yeah. So yeah, so he deletes the time in Anakin's memory, and then Anakin wakes up at the place where he battled the sister and the brother with the Force and stuff. And so yeah, and then So yeah, and then they and then Anakin or Obi-Wan and Ahsoka show up, and the son shows up, and Anakin tries to fight him and loses. And then Obi-Wan and Ahsoka just get blown away. Literally, they pull out the lightsabers, he pulls them away. They try to force at him, and he forces them away, but in their force, like, just blows themselves backwards. Their force powers, but because he's really good with it. And then the father, knowing that there's no other hope, kills himself. Yeah, he holds the dagger to his, chest, and the son's, like, utterly shocked that he can't do anything to, like, move the dagger. And then his father stabs himself, and so the son's like sitting there like, "Daddy, don't die," kind of thing, like in tears. I can't really describe it. You can watch the episode. And then I've never had the problem of missing an episode, because no matter what, I'm always able to watch it on my TV. And know it's because I have a DVR and I record it, so I can see it whenever I want. But yeah, so I don't know where to look for it. You can check out Michael and Jeff's channel or something to find that, or his Flickr page. That's my dog barking. She's prone to barking. It's not funny. So yeah, and then Anakin sneaks behind the father or the son and kills him. And then they leave, and they're like, it's the corny ending of like him saying, Rex is like, "You've only been on scanners." He's like, "No, we haven't. We've been off for a long time." He's like, "What? You'll have to inform me, sir." It's like, "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." Seen thousands of times, not original. So yeah, this is a little shorter version of it than Michael and Jeff's, which is 12 minutes. So if you need a little speedier version, you want to sit there and watch 12 minutes, you can watch this. But I'm not sure I got all of it. But so yeah. Sorry for the dog barking, it's just annoying. I'll go yell at her in a minute. So yeah, video on the Snowlock. Video on the Snowlock will be up soon. It's gonna get bigger, I promise. Alright, bye.